All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us as we discuss the Venetian Causeway water and sewer main upgrades presentation. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening, and I want to give a special welcome. I apologize to some of our elected officials that are on the call. We have our Mayor, Stephen Miner. Thank you for joining us, and his aide, Blake Govin. I also see we have here our Vice Mayor, Dominguez, Commissioner Magazine, and from Commissioner Kristen Rosen Gonzalez's office, we have Jacqueline Budin. Thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. I want to thank some of our project members and some of the team that are going to be assisting us with tonight's presentation, and I will introduce them now. They are from our Public Works Department, and we have joining us our City Engineer, Christina Ortega, our Project Manager, Matthew LaPera, our Project Engineer, Davidson Dalger, and on the contractor side with Quality Enterprises, we have Adrian Reed. So I'm going to turn it now over to Matthew to walk us through the presentation. We have a lot of information that we will be sharing with you all tonight. So Matthew, if you can go ahead and take it over. Matthew, can you hear us?
So, good afternoon, Gabby. I'll go ahead and do a quick introduction and then hand it over to Matthew if he can hear us.
I think you just unmuted.
Okay.
Sorry, I was having difficulty with audio.
No worries.
Okay.
We can hear you now, Matthew.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christina Ortega, city engineer. I lead our engineering division in Public Works. We're here to discuss the Venetian Causeway water and sewer main upgrades phase 2 project. If we can go on to the next slide, please. This is a very critical project here for the city and its water and sewer infrastructure. We currently have hanging off the bridges along the Venetian Causeway, water distribution pipes, and sanitary sewer transmission pipelines that provide potable water from Miami-Dade County to the islands and towards South Beach and Mead Beach. And we also have our sanitary sewer force mains that convey the wastewater from the islands towards the east and eventually south to the treatment facility at the county, Central District Wastewater Treatment Plant. These pipes hanging off the bridge are in poor condition and need to be replaced. Some of you may be very familiar with this and may know that the city has designed and constructed already some of this work. What you see up on the screen in pink, the Day Boulevard force main was replaced as an emergency project in 2022. And followed by in 2023, what you see in green between Belle Isle and Rivo Alto, the water and sewer pipes were replaced. Also as an emergency as a result of a number of breaks on this corridor. We had identified the replacement of all these pipes as part of our master plan. And with this phase 2, we'll be completing the replacement of the remaining segments. What you see up on the screen in yellow. Again, these are very critical for our city to complete. We are doing these replacements as drills and in very close coordination with a project that the county has to rehabilitate or replace these bridges along the Venetian Causeway. We have been in very close coordination between our engineers of record and the bridge consultant. So this project is fully funded, and we have our contractor on board. I'm gonna hand it over to Matthew to dive into the details of this phase 2 project. Again, what you see up on the screen in yellow, those are the areas that will be addressed here. So go ahead, take it away, Matthew.
Thank you. Next slide, Gabby. All right, so as Christina said, this aerial piping is in very poor condition. We are replacing the water and sewer pipes between San Marco Island and Rivo Alto Island, and then the other water pipe between Bell Island and Sunset Harbor on Dade Boulevard. It's a 36-inch water main HDPE pipe and a 12-inch sewer, very similar to the phase 1 project that some people in the area may be familiar with that we just completed. The construction is planning on taking place in 4 phases, and it's essentially the drills between the islands as each one of the different segments that we're going to be completing this in. The total project timeline is going to be from July 31st, this month, the end of this month, and it will be completed November 14th of 2025. So it's a very long, complicated project. Our first segment that we're going to complete is between Miami Beach or Sunset Harbor to Bell Island. And right here in Dade Boulevard, you can see the red hatched is where they're going to be placing the directional drill rig, and they're going to start the drill from there. Traffic will be detoured north onto Purdy Avenue. It's the eastbound traffic will be detoured north onto Purdy Avenue. It says Sunset Harbor Drive here. That's just the MOT company that created this. You're going to take your right turn heading east on the 18th Street, and then you can turn south again back onto West Avenue and get back onto Dade Boulevard. And the westbound traffic will still be able to free flow through there as normal. Next slide, Gabby. Some of the, I put this slide in here, some of the equipment that you can expect to see in that area. This is some of the drill rig that they'll be using and some other heavy equipment that will be in that red hatched area that I talked about earlier. There is going to be some noise from the construction equipment. Their work hours will be from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this is going to be a 24/7 closure, even though they're only working 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. This equipment is very heavy, very difficult to move, and you have a lot of open pits that it makes it difficult to close up after we've finished our work for the day. Bell Island is where that drill is going to exit. It's going to be in that westbound lane that you see hatched in red. The westbound traffic will be diverted onto Island Avenue North, as it was on the previous phase 1 of the last project that we did. Very similar to that, and the eastbound traffic will again be able to flow through freely. This is going to, like I said, it's going to be the first segment, and it starts July 31st and it goes till September 26th. So it's approximately 2 months long, and they will have to return on Bell Island to do the tie-in, which they'll do later, and it's tentatively scheduled for August 2025, although that could change. It's very far away, and if we move faster, that time will change. Some of the equipment and materials that you expect to see in this area, these are the pipes that they'll be storing and fusing together, and they'll be stretched along that 1 block segment within that zone. When they're ready, the drill rig will pull this pipe back through the hole that was drilled, and at which point the contractor then will do some pressure testing, some surveying, and once they're finished, they will place temporary asphalt over that hole and close it up, and we'll move on to the next drill. And I said they'll come back and do the tie-in later in August 2025. Now we're on to segment 2. They'll move to the far west San Marco to San Marino drill. This is supposed to take place September 16th to November 4th. Traffic will be diverted onto the island side streets. You can see the westbound traffic will flow freely through San Marino. But when you get to the San Marco Island, you'll have to detour on that little segment to the north. And then as far as the eastbound traffic, it flows freely on San Marco Island, but when you get to San Marino, you have to detour around the side street onto Second San Marco Drive and then back onto Venetian Way. And again, so these tie-ins, they're going to do the drill again, they'll close it up, and they'll come back later at the end to do all the tie-ins for all the islands. So the tie-in on San Marco will take place April of 2025, and the tie-in for San Marino will take place in May of 2025. This is where they will be storing the pipe before the pullback operation. They're going to place it in the bike lanes on both sides of the bridge between San Marino and Delito Islands. This street will then turn into a shared use path for motorists and bicyclists. The sidewalks will be remaining open. They may have to close at one point to do some fusing or move some equipment around, but generally these sidewalks will remain open. Again, same picture from before, but again, this is what you'll expect to see, how the pipe is stored in the bike lane. And you may see some pipe materials in the fusing machine stored somewhere offsite around those areas. During the pullback operation, these typically only last a day or two. It's tentatively scheduled for the San Marco to San Marino segment. It's tentatively scheduled for October 25th. During this time, there will be the one lane block between Delito and San Marino, San Marino and Delito Island. Flaggers will be directing traffic. It's only going to be one lane open. You'll have a flagger that'll stop traffic in one direction while the other direction flows freely, and then the flagger on the other side will then stop traffic and allow another direction to flow. This, like I said, it's a 1 to 2 day operation, so it'll be a minor inconvenience or be a major inconvenience for a few days. And here's just an image, so what you'd expect to see for a pullback. It's very complicated operation. We have to keep everything clear, so it's the best way to maintain safety for the community during this time. And essentially the other two segments, this is segment 3 here, they're exactly the same as the last one, except this is between Delito and San Marino. Again, this is tentatively scheduled for October 28th to January 17th of 2025. Again, the traffic is going to be diverted onto the side streets, and our tie-ins will be returning later in May of 2025 and June of 25 to tie these in. On this pull, on segment 3, the storage is going to be between San Marco and San Marino. Again, the bike lane is going to be closed. You'll see some of that fusing equipment and the pipe stored in the bike lane, as I mentioned before. And during the pullback, again, a 1 to 2 day operation. This drill does have two. It has a water main and a sewer force main that has to be pulled through. So there will be 2 pullbacks. One is December 10th, and the other one is scheduled for January 9th. Again, during these, it's 2 days for each one of those dates, 1 to 2 days. So during that time, again, that one lane will be blocked. Flaggers will be on either side, stopping and directing traffic. And then this is segment 4, very similar to the previous segments that we talked about. This one is going to take place January 10th, 2025 to March 3rd of 2025. Again, traffic's diverted on the side streets, and the tie-ins for Delito will take place in June of 2025 and in July of 2025 for Revo Alto. The storage for this segment will be between Revo Alto and the Basquiat Bridge that leads to Bell Island. It'll be on either side of in the bike lanes between Revo Alto and that bridge. And then again, this lane will be closed for the pullback, which is expected. Again, there's another 2 drills here. It's expected to happen February 20th of 2025, and then again on March 18th of 2025, 1 to 2 days for each one of those dates. Again, lanes can be blocked. Flaggers will be stopping traffic and directing vehicles and pedestrians through.
Thank you, Matt. So I know that we covered a lot of information and we want to make sure that it's available to everyone that has joined us on tonight's presentation. So I'm going to do a quick housekeeping, just some ground rules, and then we'll go into the public comment portion of our meeting. So if you are not already signed up to receive our project updates, our contact information is located on the bottom left corner of your screen. And apologize for not introducing myself earlier. My name is Gabriela Gonzalez and I'm the Mid-Beach Neighborhood Affairs Coordinator. So feel free to contact me. My information is there. And you can just send me an email that you'd like to be signed up to our database and we'll be happy to add you. There is also a QR code on the right corner of your screen. If you have capabilities to scan that QR code, that'll take you to our project page. Has a ton of information, project materials, and there will be a posted copy of tonight's meeting included in that link as well. If you are more tech savvy and don't have a way to scan that QR code, you can just screenshot this screen, save that photo for later, and then in your camera roll, just hold and click on that QR code, and it'll give you access to that link as well. Otherwise, feel free to send us an email, and we'll be sure to address your questions and/or comments to the team. And now we'll open it up for public comment. I want to be mindful because there are a lot of people on tonight's call and we want to make sure that we get through everybody's questions. So we will be giving everyone about 2 minutes to share your comments. The project team is here and ready to address. And I will take comments and questions in the order that they come in. So if you can please use the raise your hand feature that is located at the bottom of your screen, that'll prompt us and we will allow you to unmute yourself and open up for public comment. So the first person that we have is actually our Vice Mayor, Laura Dominguez. So if you can please unmute yourself, Vice Mayor.
Hi there.
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Presentation. Thank you so much for all of the details. And I'm sure this goes without saying, but I was just raising my hand to ensure that everyone has been in touch with the Belle Isle Residents Association and also with the Venetian Islands Homeowners Association so that both groups are involved and communicating to the residents. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Vice Mayor. That is correct. We have been in contact with our neighborhood groups and we will continue to keep them informed throughout the progress of this project. I'm going to turn it over now to our next caller, Sam K. If you can please unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon.
Can you hear, sir?
Actually, it's ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
So sorry for the frog in my throat. I caught the summer cold, which is always fun. I am wanting to confirm that we are not planning on shutting down the flow of traffic in both directions to the different keys. Am I correct, from Miami Beach?
So I will allow Matt to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, I believe you are correct. There will be different closures, whether eastbound or westbound, depending on the phase of the project. But Matt, if you want to touch base a little bit more and add additional details.
Yes, so we will have travel in both directions at all times, pretty much. There will be some detours. Like I said, we'll be directing traffic onto the islands to go around some of the work zones. And then during the pullback, you will still have travel in both directions, but you will have a flagger or a police officer on one side to, let's say, stop the eastbound traffic and allow westbound to flow through. And then a flagger will then stop traffic for the westbound and then allow eastbound to travel through. And that's only during the pullbacks. It's, like I said, 1 to 2 day operation. Other
Of
than
course.
that, you will have free flow through there and just detour around the construction sites.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. I will give a couple people extra, if anyone else has any questions or comments, I'll give you a few more minutes to raise your hand, because I'm not seeing any other callers with hand raised at this time. And again, that's located on the bottom of your screen, the raise your hand feature. So if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to direct to the project team, please feel free to share, to click on that button and we will promote you to speak. I have here a CGF, it's an iPhone. If you can please state your full name. Can you hear us there? Okay, let me move on to the next caller. We have Marcia, if you can please unmute yourself.
Hello, it's not Marcia, it's Richard.
Oh.
I want to make sure that during Art Basel days and during the February break, that we have 2 lanes going in each direction without any detours. We have enough trouble with traffic without detouring them around into the islands.
Matt, if you can walk us through specifically that November, December period, what the MOT pattern is going to look like so that we can clarify this question.
Hold on, I'm pulling up looking through my schedule for the dates. During that time, we should be on the Delito to San Marino drills. And we will do our best to stop the work around those days, but there are some times where we may have to still continue. It depends on how we are with the drill. The nature of these drills, once you start drilling through any stop in the work, you lose your progress. So we will try and plan around these holidays. The schedule is very hard to plan out a full year in advance to be exact down to the day. So as it gets closer to the December and February holidays, we will, relook at our schedule and try and adjust the work accordingly.
But I think it's very important, Matt, as you mentioned, to set expectations that once we've started drilling, that operation needs to continue. And we can, stop midway and remove the equipment and bring it back. So it's just very important for everyone to understand that once we set the equipment and start the drilling operation, we need to complete the drill and pull that pipe into place to prevent any issues. The main concern being if you're drilling that the hole could collapse. So those operations need to continue sequentially, and it's not like we can stop and demobilize and come back to it. And that's it, just due to the nature of the work, it just has to be completed in that sequence. And I see in the chat that there's a question about, we've used some terminology here in terms of tie-in, pullback. and how the project is done, right? Essentially, just for everybody's benefit, we will have the equipment on one island and drill a hole, essentially bore from one island to another, and generate, create that tunnel, that borehole, if you would. And once that borehole is completed and we check that it's in place, then we will fuse the length of pipe that's required, and then we'll pull that pipe through the hole into place. Mr. and Mrs. Sander, I hope that answered that question. Oh, again, that's the pullback, the pulling of the pipe into the hole, and Matthew showed some photos where you can see the pipe being pulled into the hole. Tie-ins is the process of then connecting that pipe that has been pulled into place into the hole at each of the two ends, connecting that pipe to our network of pipes within the islands.
Thank you, Christina. It looks like the person lowered their hand, so we were able to address that question.
I also wanted to mention real quick, Christina, that sometimes these pullbacks, and for the community, these pullbacks, they often happen at night. The last few drills that we've had on the city, they didn't start until 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and it went all through the night to where they stopped at 2 or 8 in the morning. So it kind of alleviates some of the traffic impacts by doing all their work in the middle of the night.
And to that point, we will be pushing out communication via our project advisories. So if you are signed up to our databases, you will be receiving that communication. So once there is some form of pullback or operation that will be continuous work, we will be sure to alert the public of this so that you are informed and prepared. I do not have any other hands raised. So
Kathy, we have some questions in the chat that I see. So if we can cover those, that'd be great for.
Yes, was just going to turn it over to the chat now. So.
Okay, perfect.
So there is a comment from an anonymous attendee that says work time is 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Is this work going on 7 days a week?
This work will be Monday through Friday and some Saturdays, probably most all Saturdays in the beginning for the drill, for each drill. And they won't be working on Sundays. Now, again, there is some times with the pullback that you cannot stop that operation once you started, so it may go into other days and overnight, but generally the work will be from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then most Saturdays, and then, they may not work every single Saturday.
Thank you, Matt. I'm not seeing any other open questions in our Q&A panel, and I do not have any other attendees with their hands raised.
Really quick, Gabby, I did see another question that had popped into the chat that was asking what happens if a hurricane comes, what's going to happen, and I'll let Matthew cover this in more detail, but essentially we have an emergency plan from the contractor. We'll make sure that the site is tidied up ahead of if a storm is projected to come to us. But Matthew or Adrian, if you can expand on that.
It depends on what stage of the drill that we're in that will correlate to our plan for hurricanes. Generally, we should be able to reopen the area and move machinery out of the way. If we're in mid-drill, we may have to think of some other options, and we do have a hurricane plan that is submitted as part of the submittals from the contractor, so we can follow the hurricane plan. But hopefully, the best option is that they would be able to move all that equipment out of the way. And obviously secure the MOT and remove it off site so that it doesn't blow away in the hurricane.
Thank you, Matt. I'm gonna go ahead and share that stay in touch slide one more time in case you missed it earlier. Again, if you want to rewatch a copy of this presentation, that will all be populated on our project page. You can scan that QR code, it'll take you straight there. Otherwise, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the bottom left corner of your screen. We're happy to sign you up to receive our project updates via email if needed, and of course, answer any particular questions that you may not have been able to address tonight. We want to thank everyone again for joining us for tonight's meeting, and I hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.